You're full mullet now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were doing, I saw one of the videos you guys did. You were doing testing mullet versus a 29er front and back.
Yeah.
And you went mullet overall.
Yeah, I just like the mullet. I hit my butt a lot on my tire. I'm like pretty tall, but I think I ride low.
And your BB height's the same?
Yep. I have a flip chip. And so it's more or less exactly the same.
Well, more or less the same,
yeah. I feel like it puts me in a better, like a strong position to use my legs when I ride.
Yeah.
Like I can just like push into things a bit more.
Yeah.
And also change direction a little bit easier. And I think that's pretty key for me, like in enduro, where you don't always remember where you're going.
Yeah.
When you have to make like last minute kind of quick little niggles.
Yeah.
But you do notice like rolling, bumpy, flatter stuff. You get hung up a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just can't. The 29er will always roll better probably, but I just like.
But you have to change direction sometimes.
Exactly.
And so why not be able to change direction better?
Yeah.
I mulleted out. I had actually two Capras exactly the same. I had the same parts, same everything, and I tried one where I tried 27.5 and I tried 29 and I liked 29er better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned one into a 29 front, 27.5 back mullet, and one was 29 front and back. And then I preferred that one to that one. So I did all this testing.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't timing anything. I'm not a racer. I'm not fast by any means, but
the feeling is important.
I know that some double blacks up here in the dark side and stuff. And I'm like, I like the mullet.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one I like.
Yeah.
And I kind of know that now, but
after I did that video, because I was like, oh shit, 29er is pretty good. And then so I was like, okay, I'll ride my 29er a bit more. And we're on the shore here, and like there's like kind of like a double step. It was like on double D. There's like kind of that like double stepped rock face. Yeah. And I just go into my 29er and just like smoke my butt on my tire at like the top one and just get like pitched forward going to the second one. I was like, no. And then from then on, I was like, I'm just going back to the mullet.
Yeah.
Like
it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah. What bike did you do Brutus on, Poacher and Brutus on for that one video?
On my trail bike. Yeah, my Process X. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool little process. So you worked your way up.
Yeah. It was
hit
cool.
Poacher, which is, pretty sizable gap in itself.
Yeah.
But not as big as Brutus.
Yeah, not as big, but probably more technical, like in the run-in and stuff like that.
There's the quick corner.
Yeah, like a
little jumps and
kind
stuff.
of janky corner to a flat landing.
Brutus used to have a janky corner before.
I know. I got lucky. It's easy now.
Well, it's not easy, but it's easier than it was.
Yeah, it's way easier to get speed now. They cut that log out and stuff. Yeah.
So good for you though. That's pretty massive.
Yeah. It was fun. I just felt like I was at a point where I think social media too, like it gets in your head and you like see all these people doing this awesome stuff and you're just like, I want to be awesome.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I just have to do something about it, like.
Well, be awesome then.
Like you can, I knew I was capable of doing these things. I just had got pretty like sucked into like I was trying so hard to be like fitter for enduro and stuff that I was just focusing on like training and like getting better at cornering and like things like that.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I needed to spice it up a bit.
I need to hack something.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I need to do something that's scary.
Yeah.
That'll also make me feel good and like help me continue to take risks.
Right.
Yeah.
It totally works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in another podcast, I was talking about how I used to go out and to get my heart rate up and to be able to calm myself, I used to crawl to the outside of this bridge and there's a piece of cement about that wide. It's 300 feet in Kamloops across the Pearson Creek Bridge. And I would balance there and get in my snowboard tuck and I would go through the first races of the year in my head. And if you fall, you die. And your heart rate's going, and then I would just say like, and I would just biofeedback and calm my heart rate. And then when I got into the gate in the first World Cup of the year, I'd be like, and I would just calm myself out. And I totally did it. And
that's sick.
Just the fact that I did that so many times worked. And then I was cracking the top 10 in the World Cup. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of a stupid little mental thing, but.
Are those tracks, like, could you like memorize all those tracks? Like, or is it the same kind of circuit?
Well, some of the mountains like are standbys, like they're classics,
Is this like slalom?
Yeah, with GS.
GS, okay, yeah.
So it's basically the same track, right?
Yeah.
Like roller, fall away left, and so yeah, it was just like a little mental thing, and whatever works, right? Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Like, and as far as racing goes, you've got these moments where you have to perform. free riding, I'd have shoots coming up, like a crank shoot or something back in the day, and I knew it was coming. So right before then, I would ramp up a bunch of gnarly stuff, so that when the shoot actually happened, I'd just done a bunch of gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
But if you do gnarly stuff all the way through, you may get hurt.
Yeah.
So I would like kind of just keep it, you know, kind of cruisy,
Yeah.
you know, and then just start ramping up the gnarly stuff right before it happened, and then you're ready, but you're not playing the odds all the way through.
Yeah.
Kind of like a game, you know, or
yeah.
Kind of like a thing though. But by doing Brutus, that opens up your parameters to hit big stuff. Not that you're gonna hit stuff like that in a race, but sometimes you do hit natural trail gaps and stuff. And if you got a big one in the bag like that and on lockdown, and you're that much better.
Yeah, and I think it just helped, like, maybe because I'm like older now, but just going through that process and like trying to remove just like emotion and stuff from it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you can add emotion into like a lot, maybe for women too, like whereas like jumping always seems to be like a common like area of sort of fear. It's like you definitely inject a lot of emotion into like taking these risks, where like the risk can be broken down into like a series of steps that you just have to follow. Like but a lot of the time I was finding I was approaching it with a lot more emotion than like you need to, you know. You just need to go through the process of what you're doing on your bike, because that's how you're gonna do it. That's how you're gonna accomplish it.
That's how you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome that Remy like told you in.
Yeah.
You know, you guys have a cool relationship in that, you know, you're both pro riders, you're both fantastically skilled, but he's amazing. And so you're lucky to have
for sure
a boyfriend like that.
Yeah.
To ride and train with.
Yeah.
And you know, a bunch of your friends, like you used to live with Lee Jackson.
Yeah, we still live with Lee.
Still a roommate. And he was a long time, you know, I saw him race downhill on the Canada Cup forever, and I think he's more you know, endurance now.
Yeah.
Than downhill anymore.
Well, yeah, so he's like he works during the week, so he likes to maximize his weekend. So he's always like down for big rides or you know, whatever. I think he was snow camping last night.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you guys are tight with McKay Vazina, and sometimes you go down to Thousand Oaks and train with him.
Yeah, for sure.
In California to get away from the snow and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you have these friends who are all super badass rippers.
Yeah.
Which ups your game.
For sure.
And you're in a unique position to have a boyfriend that's like a pro rider.
Yeah.
That's only to make you better.
I know. Like, it's really cool, yeah. And I find Remy and McKay, like you said, there are certain people who I just like really trust too. There's other people who I'm like equally as good friends with, but I don't trust them to like
follow them in the speed
like tote me into something.
Yeah.
So like McKay, Remy, actually Curtis Keene was always one for me, like growing up, like at like national races, like in the States and stuff. Like I always trusted Curtis to like tow me into like a big jump or something. Like I feel like he was just aware of what I had to do. Whereas like some people you follow and they're just like,
just do it, it's easy.
They go and they're like going slow, then they just like pop and yank like way harder than I can or whatever, you know? And you're like, well, how was I supposed to do that? Like,
yeah, right.
Whereas they, I think, understood like how I would like
where you're coming from and incorporate that into their approach to tow you in properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just something I've kind of figured out over the years, I guess, with spending time with all these people. Yeah.
Who to follow and who
yeah,
not to.
yeah, exactly.
I remember following Vanderham in northern Italy in Garda, super rocky, super chunky, and we were on a group ride. So he was taking it. I can't keep up to him, you know, on the best of days, not for very long, anyways. But I was keeping up to him. Yeah, we're just a group ride, and I'm like, do. Oh, I feel cool, you know.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm riding with Vanderham.
Yeah,
woo. And then he pops over some rocks. I pop over some rocks. I'm like, oh, that was a bit zesty, but no problem. Oh, and then he pops over some other rocks. I'm like, hey, I'm ripping. I'm ripping. Someone take my picture.
I'm doing it.
And then he pops over this other little gap, and I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I pop with him, like just like I just did the last couple times.
Yeah. And
then I realize that it's a sizable gap, and we're gonna clear a rock about 2/3 the size of a washing machine. And I'm like, I'm going to commit it. I'm in the air. I'm like, oh my God. And I just tapped it with my back end, and it dropped my front end, and I landed, and I rode it out through all these big chunky rocks the size of watermelons everywhere, but sharp and edgy.
Yeah.
And he's like, dancing down the trail. And I'm like,
yeah,
that was so close.
Yeah. Something you can only do once.
Yeah, right. I couldn't do that, but I did because I just did it before I realized I was doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, thank God. Well, Wade's like that too. Wade's like, yeah, just do it. You know, he's like, just do it. Like, I got to break this down in my head. You just do it. And he goes, well, I will just do it. Well, You just did it. I know. Okay. God damn it.
I don't know, just pull up.
Yeah.
Spike at it.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people have a knack for knowing where your skills are. It's almost like an innate built-in coaching side of them to their riding to help you out to clear stuff like, and Curtis Keene did that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curtis was always good for that.
Back in the day. Well, that's cool. Wow. Well, that's a pretty good collection of friends. You've surrounded yourself with, like, you know, people that you like, that are people that also rip, and that's only going to make you faster. And obviously, it's working for you. Yeah,
it's fun. I feel like I'm getting better every year, and yeah,